Hey guys, Marshmallow Chomp here, back with another FRAG Pro Shooter video, and today I'm going to be going over whether you should or should not use DolB. Now DolB is part of a 2-character synergy along with Wave, which you'll definitely seen these two being used together if you're in an arena where you can unlock them, as they are pretty good together. But I'm going to be reviewing DolB as an individual character, and I'm just going to be reviewing how fun he is, how strong he is, and how long I think he's going to be in the meta due to certain aspects of him. Now before we get into that, I'm just going to review his design. Not gonna lie, really like it. And he's got a lot of cool skins. He's got the origami skin a lot of new characters has. He's got the Cosmos, he's got the Neon, he'll probably have gold, yeah. He's got Infinite, which is a very cool one. DolB is a very good cheap skin. I quite like it for just a cheap common. It's different enough. We've got red metal as well, almost Iron Man colours there, so that's pretty cool. Here is the original. We've got the Toxic Avenger, which is an exclusive skin to an event, which looks really nice. If I got this, I would use it, especially because the animation on his helmet's a lot more apparent. He's also got the lines going around him, as we can see on his arms and the connecting areas. Then we have Audio 1, which is another exclusive skin, really cool, love it again. And then back to Dragon, which is what I've got, which is a rare skin, so it gets a better Victory Gold perk boost. And yeah, it's just kind of cool, you know. So, that's the design. Honestly, he's got a lot of really cool skins. He does have the one that looks a lot like Iron Man. I know a lot of characters have skins that are supposed to look like pop culture icons. That's probably DolB's. And it's cool that he's got one. It's cool that it's subtle, not just in your face. And I like a lot of the colour scheme ones and the exclusive ones. So, okay. So, there's going to be a few categories. I think it's about 10 categories I've made, which is his damage, his ability, his role, how fun he is, how unique he is, how he does in player-on-player combat, how he does as a bot, how he does at defending, how easy is he to grind, and how good are his frag powers. So, DolB has a shotgun weapon, but instead of it being an actual typical shotgun... Okay, I have trash Wi-Fi. Don't know why I thought, oh, I have trash Wi-Fi, I won't get kicked. Okay, so yeah, I have terrible Wi-Fi. I guess we'll just do Frag Tower Challenge, and I probably will for a lot of these videos. Just because my Wi-Fi is terrible, and if I'm recording as well, it's going to be worse. So again, let's start with DolB. He's got a shotgun, but unlike your typical shotgun where it fires a shell with multiple bullets coming out of it, it's more like a single beam that's quite high power. So as you can see, it's 80 damage, which is very solid. It does the job. And on head, it's 96 at my current level, which is level 7. But at the same time, you just saw TankBot got a ton of hits in there, as it's not very strong in terms of defender weapons. Defender weapons you arguably want to be stronger, whereas attackers you want to be faster, so they can outmaneuver the defenders. But DolB is quite weak, unfortunately, and his damage just isn't great. I gave that a 6 out of 10. It's an average shot. Well, it's average damage. It's not too great. As you can see, it only does 9 to buildings. It does have decent range on it, which is useful against weak, nimble characters like Ollie B, as you just saw, Andromeda, and a few others. But as you can see, this level 17 TankBot is taking a lot of hits. So, I put it at 6 because, again, it's quite, it doesn't have any drop-off at range, so you can quite hit people along from far away. But it's weak, and it's the weakest out of all shotguns. Characters like Buck, Jackal, Padre, if you hit every shell from one of their shotgun blasts, you're going to be doing a lot more damage than what DolB is capable of. Which is quite sad, honestly, because I quite like DolB. Next up, we're going over to the ability. The ability is very, very strong on DolB. What it does is it creates a pulsating barrier around one of your towers. It can be either base or the actual main tower itself, or just anywhere where there's a target, basically, for the other maps. And it stuns and damages. It pretty much insta-kills anyone who tries attacking you. Now, I've given that a 8 out of 10. Because although it sounds busted, and it's really good at stopping people, here we can have a go. And it just did the wrong one because the auto aim that I so love. But yeah, basically it puts a whole stun barrier and almost auto kills. The reason I put it at an 8 and not a 10 is because, as you can see, yeah, Jack El Padre's shotgun was mad. Because of the fact that it can only be used on bases, it means that DolB is almost strictly defense, and because of his low building damage as well, it enforces the fact that he's a strict defense character, which isn't a bad thing, but it means if you really needed to do a push, and DolB's your only character alive, he's not going to be doing anything for you. And on top of that, it's quite easy to outplay. Like, if a DolB does it preemptively, you can literally just walk over to the other tower and shoot that one instead for a bit. It doesn't matter. So that's why I only gave it an 8 out of 10 rather than like a 10 out of 10. It's a great ability, don't get me wrong, but it and you will use it a lot in a match, but it can't help you out in a lot of scenarios, unfortunately. Something I like that it does do, though, it does increase your damage that you do to anyone who's also being stunned. So not only are they being stunned, taking damage, but they also take increased damage. So the bot for DolB, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. It's a very intimidating unit to come across, but when it's being played by a bot, as it is a high health defender with the ability to lock down a whole building from being attacked. However, the reason it's only a 7 out of 10 is it overuses the ability, meaning that most of the time it's either on cooldown or just on a building where people aren't really attacking. However, if it notices a player is attacking, it will typically hit that building, and if they didn't know you had a DolB on your team, or they weren't prepared to run to the next one, they'll probably get absolutely murked by it. What even bounced me there? Something bounced me. Oh well. But, yeah. So, the bot isn't 100% like top tier, but it is a great defender bot. It's probably one of the better bots at playing defender in the game, as it can lock down a whole area, but it can be a bit too eager to do that, and unfortunately that can be a downside. Next up, we've got how fun it is to play as that unit as a player yourself. I've given it a 3 because you have to strictly stay on defense, which, let's face it, you're not going to be doing a lot of the time. He doesn't, although his ability is good and it's strong, it's not very fun to use. His weapon's not interesting, it's just kind of a beam that does have a tendency to miss quite a lot. And its range isn't great either, so you can't just like snipe people from quite far away and get excited by that because the range is low. So although he's a great character to have on a team, and he's one of the better defenders to be played by a bot, I wouldn't recommend playing it yourself, to be honest. He's not the most fun of characters. He does have better range than most shotgun characters, but even then, it's not the most amazing range. Like, as you can see, I can kind of go from mid to front of building, but not much further than that. Unique. How unique is he? He has the speed synergy, which synergies are currently quite new. so to have a synergy at all makes him pretty unique. And it is the first one that boosts movement speed, and it's a very good one because DolB can just deny a lot of attackers with his ability if done correctly, and then that can help Wave just sprint all the way up to the point, little hassle, and just start shredding it with his close range damage buff. I've given him a 7. I like the fact that he's the complete opposite to his counterpart in the synergy. And I also like his ability. It's very unique. I'd say the closest we have is Book, with the fact that he can board up bases and defend them that way. But even then, that's not very similar because he can also create the ramps. And his is more a precise part of the building, whereas DolB is just the whole building. So I've given him a 7 for how unique he is. Right, for his combat and range, I've given him a 6. His ability makes him top tier fighter. If you've caught someone in it, they're not going to get out of there anytime soon. They're going to get killed most likely, especially if someone's with you, and he's very good. His weapon though, it's easy to dodge, it's easy to predict, it's really easy to interfere with, so if you bounce them, if you push them around, they're probably going to miss a lot of their shots. So I've only given him a 6 because of how good he is at defending and how good he is at them mid-range encounters. But close up he's quite durable, and if he's not using the ability on you, you're probably going to take him out. But he is still quite tanky. As you can see, at level 7, he has 514 hit points, which is quite a lot. So, although you might not hit a lot of your shots, you might be able to get a win through just tanking damage and then being able to damage more than you're taking. His defending, I've given him a 10. Now, I was kind of considering giving him a 9, but the fact that he can lock down a building and just completely lock it off and get a lot of kills, I've given him a 10. And you might think that I did earlier say that it can be avoided quite well. You do have to think that 4 out of the 5 players are going to be played by bots. So say they have 3 players attacking, 2 of those 3 players aren't going to be smart enough to move building, and that is 2 players just completely wiped out of the equation. And then it's just a one-on-one, and with the tankiness, and maybe if you've got a camp unit with you, such as JB, Sogeki-chan, literally just any camp unit in the game who can assist you at that time, you're probably going to lock down a lot of attacks. Grindability. I've given a 2. Because grindability, basically, I meant like for these kills here to get the skin coins. He's not fun, his weapon's not the greatest, and most of the time, if you're playing, you want to be ensuring that you're giving out orders, you want to be moving all the way around the battlefield so you know the best time to send an attack order, a defend order. You want to be dealing target damage, and whilst you're doing that, you'll inherently get kills, and kills will help you get the skin coins. With DolB, you have to play defensive a lot of the time. If the player themselves is playing defense all the way throughout the match, you're not going to win. You can win. I've even seen, and I've even done it myself actually, where I've won with a pure defense deck through only kills, but it's not easy. It's never really that fun either. So I wouldn't recommend that. And so because DolB is such a tough character to enjoy playing, he's also a tough character to grind with, because you're not going to get loads of kills, and he's not the most fun to play with. And for the fun of the character, I've done that one already. Oops. For the role, I've given him a 7. He fits defense perfectly. You're not going to do anything else. I gave him a 7 because of the fact that he can be outmaneuvered, and also the fact that he can't be played as other roles. But if you're just wanting a strictly defense character, DolB is great. And then finally for Frag Powers, I've given him a 4. Not because the Frag Powers are bad, but because they don't help increase his weak points. The best thing about DolB by far is this Bunker Beats ability, where it creates magnetic waves that increase damage they take, do damage, and stun enemy attackers. That's not the problem with DolB. The problem with DolB is the weapon being a slow-firing beam that misses a lot, and although it does a lot of damage, it doesn't do anywhere near as much as most characters do, leading to a low DPS. Honestly, I don't think they should buff it. I think they should just have had a frag power that buffs it ever so slightly, but not a extreme amount. So the frag powers I've only given a 4 because they both increase the thing that's good about him and don't help him with his consistency. They could have increased fire rate, they could have increased ammo, but no. Instead, they reduced the cooldown and added a push effect so you're more likely to push them off of the edge of the map or just away. So they're both good. That's why I've not given it like a 1 or a 2, but they both buff the thing that's already good. They are very cool. I would love to get the ability cooldown, because that takes it from a 16-second cooldown to a 10-second cooldown. And because the bot overuses it and often has it in cooldown, this would help the bot that's playing as DolB be even more threatening. So they're good, but they're not what I want. They don't cover his weak spots. For example, Red Shadow, his problem is that he's very slow on his feet, yet one of the frag powers is movement speed is increased. So for DolB, what you should probably have is increased fire rate, but instead it's not. Anyway, overall, I would give him a very good rating. I would say that if you struggle with defense, or if you find that in your matches, wrong deck. Let's go on this one. Yeah, as you can see, I went very aggressive this match. I got 13 kills on Wave, which is who I was playing. And on those few stragglers that managed to get through, Sogeki-chan and DolB together got 5 kills, and that's on an aggressive match. This is what the score looked like. I just got a constant high score, and theirs just plummeted instantly. And yet, so that means that there wasn't much to defend, and yet they still got 5 kills and stopped them really even scratching my score. I almost got perfect score because of the fact that DolB can lock down a base very successfully. So he's great. I'd recommend him. Just don't play as him yourself, I would say, and don't expect him to be really fun to play as, but more he's fun to play with. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know, do you guys use DolB? Do you use DolB with Wave or on his own? And what are your thoughts on DolB in general? And yes, I do know the Wave and DolB thing is kind of overpowered. I was just trying it out. And also, I can see why a lot of you hate him. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.